Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Yoga Hosers. Yoga Hosers. What a piece of crap. I did not like this movie at all. I thought it was pretty crappy. Kevin Smith is a guy who I used to love Kevin Smith's movies. Like Chasing Amy, I think is such a such a nuanced story and such a well told story, and the performances in it are great. I mean, it's not shot the best, but it's very affecting. I don't care what anybody says. I really like Dogma, other than the poop monster. I think it's a very interesting story with a very interesting, like, well thought out idea behind it. The characters are like lovable in that movie. Clerks is a classic, obviously. I like Mallrats for what it is. I even like Jersey Girl, which a lot of people hated, but this movie, in my opinion, was atrocious. Now, to get to the biggest positive of this movie, by far, in my opinion, and I'm surprised to be saying this, were the two main characters. They're played by the daughter of... They're nepotism at its best. They're played by the daughter of Johnny Depp, who is in this movie and was in his last movie, Tusk, and clearly she got the role because she's not Johnny Depp's daughter, and Kevin Smith met her through that situation and liked her. It's obvious that that's how she got the role, and Kevin Smith's own daughter. And don't get me wrong, neither of these two are giving like an Oscar-worthy performance. Like you're not watching it being like, wow, what actors they are. But what they are really great at doing is playing these two characters. They were in Tusk before this, and they're very cartoonish. They're basically what an old person would think of a young person today. Like, they're obsessed with their phone. They're, for some reason, obsessed with yoga, which I'm not really 100% sure on that. They're playing on all the Canadian tropes. A lot of that stuff, I was like, oh. Like, when people... I've never said "boot" in my life. Maybe the way I pronounce "about" may sound that way to you if you're American, but when I hear it in a movie, I'm like, oh, come on. And stuff like that. But they're like the biggest part that really worked for them, other than being able to play these two specific characters, is you could really feel a camaraderie between the two of them, and you really felt like they are friends. I don't know if they've ever hung out outside of making movies or not, but it felt like they were, and they really felt like they had a great chemistry with one another. Aside from that, what the hell is this movie? I watched Tusk, his last movie, which you could say the exact same thing about, and I enjoyed it because it was so over the top and silly, but it was he went for it, and I was all for it. And you could say the same thing here. He goes for this concept. If you don't know what this movie is about, it's difficult to even explain it to you, but basically these two girls are clerks in a store because God knows Kevin Smith loves to go back to the well. And this store, for some reason, ends up having bratwurst-sized Nazis that are there and killing people. It's really quite dumb. Good. I feel like at the end of the day, it's symptomatic of a thing that's been happening in Hollywood, from my perspective lately, where people seem to confuse when they're making comedies that they're making each other laugh on the set, and that must mean that it's funny. But that's not the case. You're not making these movies to make one another laugh on set. You're making these movies to make an audience enjoy them. And I think that there are certain movies that have completely lost sight of that. They value ad-libbing over story, or over making, like, they put in jokes that don't make any sense for the characters because it was a funny ad-lib, and it may have been funny in the moment, but it takes away from the movie as a whole. And that this movie, it doesn't have any of those specific moments in it, but what it does do is it's basically a guy who has fallen victim to the Adam Sandler syndrome, in my view, where he just wants to make movies with his friends and family, and he gives them roles that suit their personality, even if it doesn't make any sense for the movie. It doesn't work in the movie. Like, there's a character in this that's played by one of Kevin Smith's podcast co-hosts, and all he does is just throw out impersonation after impersonation after impersonation, and they're useless. They're not funny. Like it's mildly impressive for half a moment because he could do these impersonations, but they're not like spot on. They're just solid. They're okay. It's not like, if Kevin Pollak was in there doing his impersonations, they'd be a hell of a lot more impressive. It makes no sense as far as the character goes. They have to ham-fist in origin to makes it so that they have something to point to, but it doesn't serve any purpose other than to be like, hey, look, he can do impersonations. Isn't that cool? And like his wife's in this, and she can't act herself out of a paper bag. He just throws in people because he likes them, and that's not a great way to make a movie. It ruins, and like, don't get me wrong, he's done this from the beginning of his career, and there have been times where it worked out. Like Clerks was just his friends, but that movie is not great because of the performances of his friends. Other than the guy who plays Randall was pretty important to the role, but otherwise anybody could have been in those roles. It was more like the aesthetic and the story that made that movie work. And like Chasing Amy is clearly a bunch of his friends that he made from like Mallrats and stuff like that, and that's awesome. That's cool that he was able to do that, but those people actually worked in those roles. This time around, it's not like he's been like, oh, how can this work out for my friend? I wrote these roles. What friend could fit into that? Or I wrote these roles with my friends in mind. It's more like, oh, my friend can do this. I'm gonna hand fist that into the script so that he can do that on screen, and it sucks. If you watch this movie and you enjoyed it, please let me know why in the comments below. Hit that like button; it's huge for a channel, and hit that subscribe button. I love getting new subscribers. It means so much to me. Other than that, have yourself a nice day.